Hello and welcome to We Just Quote in the podcast, but we do more than just quote. This is We Just Quote Wednesday, and today I'll be talking about limitations, constructive criticism, seeking to learn and grow, staying true to who you are, and this week's quote of the week, which will be revealed in the podcast. Stay at the end to get a clue about next week's podcast. Make sure you subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you know exactly when a new podcast comes out, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. Now let's get into it. It is week 12. Week 12, guys. This is the 12th We Just Quote Wednesday podcast, which means this podcast has been going on for 3 months. And it's crazy. The growth, the progression. Remember, small progression is still progression. But the growth and the progression has just been unreal. The love and the support, it means so much to me as always. And we're just going to get better and better and better. Subscribe if you haven't already. Join us. Send in your quotes, your topic ideas, your questions, your thoughts. Email them to the email in the description. But thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to all my listeners, whether you are new or returning. As always, it really does mean a lot to me. And I appreciate you all so much. And I want to give a shout out to all those people who have given me feedback, whether it's positive thoughts, negative thoughts, and especially to those who have given me constructive criticism. I really do appreciate it because it helps me improve and do better. Criticism isn't always nice to hear. You don't want to hear that we're doing something wrong. You don't want to hear that you're doing something incorrect. But actually, with the good intent behind it, constructive criticism is key and it helps you improve and do better and better and better. We do need to be careful the way that we do critique others. And you should have the mindset of wanting to help and improve them. And there's ways of going about it. And there's criticism where it's very negative and people are sort of tearing down what you're doing and what you love and are being really hateful and basically are bullying. And I don't mean that sort of criticism. I'm talking about the constructive kind where the intent is to help one improve. But we need to take on and accept criticism and critiques. That we are not perfect and that we should be corrected when we are wrong. We can be suggested things that will help us grow and improve and better ourselves. And it's not always nice to hear, but we need to accept our limitations. If we can't accept our limitations, then we are no better than the bad guys. If we can't accept our limitations, then we are no better than the bad guys. This was a quote said by Tony Stark. Yes, another Marvel quote. Those who have listened to quite a few of my recent We Just Quote Wednesday podcasts will know that lately I've been using a lot of Marvel quotes. The MCU really is a beautiful universe and has a lot of powerful, meaningful quotes that can be applied to our lives. This quote was said by Tony Stark in the film Captain America Civil War. Amazing film, check it out, absolutely love it. I remember the first time I saw this film, I was actually on the plane, I was going on holiday, and it was like one of those long haul flights, and then you know how you've got like a little TV at the back of the chairs and there's a bunch of movies, TV shows and music. Well, this was on there, and remember that's the first time I watched it. But yeah, it was great. Anyway, Tony said if we can't accept limitations, then we're no better than the bad guys. Accept limitations. Accept the fact that you're not perfect and that we are humans and that you weren't designed to be perfect. We have flaws that we can improve on. It can be personal and within you, or it could be something that you do in general. You can do a test and you don't get 100%. You're then given critiques and constructive criticism that will help you improve next time. Take that critique, take that constructive criticism, grow and learn from it. Better yourself. Accept your limitation and work on it. Don't be arrogant about it. Don't neglect it, but work on it. Accept criticism and your limitations. Life is full of many lessons. Rejection, failure is one of them, and accepting limitations, learning and growing for them is another. We have to accept the limitations, accept our faults, and learn and grow from them. Not accept them and sit on them, but accept them to do better and to grow. I want to make it clear that when I talk about limitations, I don't mean physical limitations like a disability. I'm talking about something that you do that you're maybe not very good at, or you're doing incorrectly and someone's critiquing you on it, to help you improve and be better. Just to make it clear that I don't mean physical limitations such as not being able to see, not being able to walk, but even still, with those kind of limitations, there's a different take on it, and it's not just sitting and accepting on it, it's working around it and still bettering yourself. Like, there's so many people with mental or physical limitations who have still contributed so much to the world and made and done great things with their lives, which I'll talk about another time. But I want to make it clear that the limitations I'm talking about are not of those kind, but more smaller scaled things where we know that we're not perfect and there's things that we can do to improve and to be critiqued on. Failing is how you grow and learn your lessons. And F said that in a song called Lost. Correction and critiques is how you grow and learn your lessons. That's what I say. When you fail, just know that it's a test. And F said that. When you're critiqued with the intent to help you improve, just know that it's a test. A test for you to learn, a test for you to grow and apply the correction. That's what I said. If you've listened to quite a few older We Just Quit Wednesday podcasts, you'll know that I'm a huge fan of NF. He's an American rapper, and he did write a song called Lost where he said, failing's how you grow and learn your lessons. And I'm trying to use that and use his words, change it and tweak it a little bit to fit and apply to this idea of critiques and corrections. Accept that you're not perfect, that you are always learning. Learning is a continuous process irrespective of the skills one may possess. We're always learning. And many people do struggle to take on board criticism and apply the criticisms given to them, the constructive ones. Remember, I'm talking about constructive ones, not the haters in the group chats, not the haters in the comments, nothing like that. I'm talking about constructive criticism. I have a few theories to why people don't like to hear criticism, but I wanted to hear these theories from other people. Again, if you've listened to quite a few of my older We Just Quote Wednesday podcasts, which you should check out, I haven't done what I'm about to do in a while. Check out last week's We Just Quote Wednesday podcast if you haven't already. But the regulars, I'll call you guys, regular listeners, you will know that I would ask some people their opinions, thoughts and ideas on certain topics, and then I will involve that in the podcast. I haven't done that in a while, but I'm bringing it back. It's been 3 months of the podcast. Haven't done that for a while. I'm going to try and bring it back and keep it going for as long as possible. I really do believe you guys like it. If you want more of it, please comment or email wejustquoting@gmail.com and tell me your thoughts. If you have any ideas that you would like to see in the podcast, here in the podcast, please do email them to me. But I'm bringing essentially that kind of segment of the podcast back. And the question I asked was, why do you think some people struggle to accept criticism? And here are some of the responses. I think some people struggle to take criticism because they're insecure and sometimes embarrassed to be wrong, or just don't like the person criticizing them. I believe that some people find it hard to accept that they aren't always correct, and that if they are criticized, they're doing it wrong. People also are fearful of being knocked down, especially if they have recently risen from a low point in their life. I think it's because it's hard to hear that people think something isn't as good as you feel it is, especially if it's something you've tried your hardest on. Most of the time, you can see areas of improvement by yourself, and you're always your harshest critic. which is why from other people you'd rather hear positive comments even when criticism and critiques are meant with good intentions. I feel that if you're not asking for criticism, it can be quite rude for people to give you unsolicited advice. I mean, what makes them any better or more qualified than you? I think it's because they think they are always right. I think there are many reasons, one of them being past traumas, for example, if their parents criticize them a lot. I think it's because they don't want to be told that they are wrong. I think people don't like being wrong, and it also depends on the way that the criticism is given. Some people are just really horrible when criticizing others. I think it's because they are light-hearted people and take things personally. A lot of people think they are perfect and have high egos. These people do not like to think that they are wrong or like to receive criticism. I feel as some people will take it completely the wrong way and will feel like they have failed because they're getting criticism. I would have to say it's because of their ego. They think they're always right and criticism just hurts them because it bruises their ego. I think it's because they just don't want to hear. Simple as that. I think it's because they feel like they are being told that they're doing something wrong rather than being corrected. Some people generally think that they don't deserve criticism, or they may not like the person that the criticism is coming from. It could also lead to them feeling embarrassed. They just can't handle the truth. People prefer the sugar-coated truth over the hard truth. Their ego is at stake. They think it's an insult. They may have taken pride in doing whatever they receive criticism for, so if someone criticizes it, they may feel upset. Many people don't want to view themselves that way. Being wrong is just socially associated with being bad, but that's not necessarily the case. When people hear that they are wrong, they can get really defensive. It's because they don't want to be viewed in the bad light. They do care too much about the opinions of others, or they are scared it's going to hurt their own self-esteem. Maybe if we normalize constructive criticism, people could improve, but it's always hard to hear that you are wrong. People struggle to hear the truth, so hearing criticism will be difficult. Some people believe that they are perfect the way they are, but we are not perfect, and hearing criticism isn't something they hear on a daily basis, so that could be one of the reasons. It is the fact that criticism is so negative and is some form of judgment. It's a struggle, especially when you don't like certain things about yourself and then someone else says it and they basically tell you to change who you are as a person. Criticism is basically telling someone they're not good at something and then also telling them to change who they are as a person. It can be hard to accept the fact sometimes, but what can you do? I think it's because some people think that someone criticizing them is being rude, so they get angry and they get annoyed. Also, when people are criticized, it makes them feel bad about themselves. Also, some people don't like being wrong. I think it's because of the human ego. It leads us to believe we are better than we are, and it hurts when that image of ourselves isn't approved of. I think it's because of pride, or because they may feel their opinion shouldn't be affected by them. I feel like sometimes people struggle to accept criticism, as people often find it hard to accept that they are wrong. This obviously isn't for all people, but many people are against / don't take criticism well, as they feel as though it's offensive. Some people are very set in their own ways, which means they like to do things their way, and to them that is the right way, and every other way is wrong, and these people are strong-willed. I think it's to do with low self-esteem. It lowers people's confidence, and people don't like hearing and being told that they are wrong, so they struggle to accept it. Some people can struggle to accept criticism as they feel bad for being corrected in a way that could affect certain people's reactions to that criticism that they have received. On the other hand, others may not like the criticism that they have received, so cannot take it on board. I think it's because they don't want to face the truth. I think it's because of egos, in some cases, but sometimes it could be because of a need for validation. Criticism is hard to take when you work really hard to achieve something and all you receive is just someone hating or telling you what you did was wrong. I think that some people are too arrogant and feel that their opinion is superior and don't want to hear anything from anybody else. Just to be extra super duper clear, the type of criticism I'm talking about is a constructive type, the type with the intent to help somebody improve, not the malicious type. I wanted to get this clear and out in the open and make sure it's super clear so that nobody is confused. Obviously, there's a lot of horrible people in this world, a lot of bullies who will try and tear others down with their actions and their words. But just to be clear, the criticism that I mean is of the constructive kind. Thank you to everybody who has given a response, shared their thoughts and ideas on the question. It means a lot to me as always. And from those responses, what I will say is this. Always seek to learn and grow, to better yourself. Take on board the constructive criticism given to you. And I emphasize the word constructive. The people who love you and will criticize you will do so because they love you. They want you to do well. They want you to be better, to do better. They want you to better yourself. If we can't accept limitations, then we're no better than the bad guys. In last week's We Just Quote Wednesday podcast, again, check it out if you haven't already, I spoke about staying true to who you are and referred to the song called Who You Are by Jessie J, where she says, "Don't lose who you are in the blur of the stars. Seeing is deceiving, dreaming is believing. It's okay not to be okay. Sometimes it's hard to follow your heart. Tears don't mean you're losing, everybody's bruising. Just be true to who you are." There's a saying that you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Sometimes we start an endeavour with good intentions, but get so caught up in it that we resort to methods that go against our morals or values. Whether it be neglecting to take proper precautions, cheating to get ahead, stooping to a new low to get revenge on someone who has done us wrong, or something else entirely. Yes, it might take longer or be more difficult to do things the right way, but doing so could be the difference between being a hero and being a villain. Whatever you do it while being true to who you are. Stay true to who you are. Stay true to your morals, to your values, to what you believe in. Don't lose who you are in the blur of the stars. Seeing is deceiving, dreaming is believing. It's okay not to be okay. Sometimes it's hard to follow your heart. Tears don't mean you're losing, everybody's bruising. Just be true to who you are. This week's quote of the week is, "Hope for the best, but be prepared for the worst." Be hopeful. Stay hopeful always, but be ready for when things don't go your way. Bars and Melody wrote a song called Hopeful, and they said, "'Cause I'm hopeful, yes I am, hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away. And be hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, just be hopeful." Let me repeat that again for you. 'Cause I'm hopeful, yes I am, hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away. And be hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, just be hopeful. Be hopeful, don't lose hope, hold on to it. Have hope for good things, have hope for other people, have hope for positive things to happen in your life. However, be prepared for the worst. Be ready for when things don't go your way, because you don't want to be caught off guard when the sun isn't always shining, when it's not always rainbows and puppies. Things will not always go your way. Things will not always be great. Be hopeful, but be prepared. 'Cause I'm hopeful, yes I am, hopeful for today. Take this music and use it, let it take you away. And be hopeful, and he'll make a way. I know it ain't easy, but that's okay, just be hopeful. Thank you for listening. This has been We Just Quote Wednesday. Make sure you give a like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and do all that good stuff. Look out for many podcasts in between We Just Quote Wednesdays, and stay tuned for next week's We Just Quote Wednesday. If you have any quotes, questions, or topic ideas, email them to wejustquoting@gmail.com. Thank you again for listening, and bye-bye for now. Life is for the risk takers.